All-Star Batman issue 8, Scott Snyder writing, and help me out here, guys. How did I pronounce this?
I don't have it in front of me, so I can't.
Get it. I'm gonna try to help.
Giuseppe
Man,
Giuseppe Camincola.
Cameo Cola.
Yeah,
Can of
sure.
cola.
That's a tough one. Also, Francesco Francavilla on the backup in terms of the art. So this is the
Much easier. Much easier.
third part of the Ends of the Earth. This is the Mad Hatter issue because each one's been focusing on a different villain. So this is Batman going to Mad Hatter. All of it's told in a sort of narrative from Batman's point of view kind of style. Where even when he's like saying what Mad Hatter says, he says it in the sort of way that a first person writer would say it, and he said this and he said that kind of thing. And it's kind of Mad. There's all bits before that, but it's basically Mad Hatter like try to convince him that he's actually been under Mad Hatter's like sort of control or influence the whole time, and the whole Batman thing's has been an illusion.
My favorite part of this issue was when I thought Batman picked up an actual flamingo and hit somebody with it.
And hit Dick Grayson with it.
Yeah, because we find out Duke's been taken, Duke's missing, and Nightwing, Batwoman, and Red Hood show up, but it's not really them. It's just the Black Hawks. And sort of
I don't like
the
them.
guys.
I don't like Snyder corrupting Blackhawks because that's like
Yeah, I thought they were good guys normally.
they are,
Ish.
and I don't know. I don't like. I just hope they clear up the real Blackhawks show up, or the legacy of the Blackhawks show up. You know, kind of.
Yeah, that's definitely my least favorite thing about this issue.
Yeah. It's weird.
Honestly, Batman's voice is still bothering me.
Yeah.
In this issue, see the point where he
He's
swears.
he's very Frank Miller, but not good Frank Miller Batman.
Yeah, see when he turns around and swears, and it's like it's got all the different symbols instead because
Yeah.
they don't want swearing in the Bat book, and he says, "Yeah, I know it's not really them because my family can bleep and fight." I don't even,
Effing fight.
well, I assume it's effing, but there's only usually you match the number of letters with the symbols. They don't.
They don't know.
All right,
I've
okay.
noticed that
Good
a few
times-
times. They do not match
Good
them.
letterers do that though.
Yeah, because the
You know?
F-bomb makes sense, but it was only 4, so I'm like, wait, what's 4 letters that works in that sentence?
No, I think sometimes they do match it to the thing, but DC, I've noticed they often don't. They just make it fit the box where they
Car,
want it and you get it anyway.
Car, to be
Fair
clear,
enough.
I don't mean they usually just do it in comics. I mean everywhere when they do this, they usually match the number of letters to
Yeah. That's what I mean. Usually they do, but I've seen in DC specifically quite a lot where it's just shortened to 4 or 5, regardless of the word.
Well, regardless, it felt very on Batman to me for him to say that. I don't know, it just stood out to me as that's something that I don't know. That's something I expect Wolverine to say, or like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see a problem with that personally. I can see Batman getting annoyed. They've just impersonated his family.
Felt out of tone though.
Yeah.
Like, first he picks up a flamingo and hits somebody with it,
Just
and
kind
then
of
you're
cool.
it's a robot flamingo. Okay, well whatever. And then also this issue made me realize I don't like the Mad Hatter. I just as a villain, I'm just like, ugh.
I don't dislike him. I liked him in what was he in recently? Where I think it was in Batman where he'd got one of the guards to break someone out, and they were using his hats. Was that recently? I read something recently about that. Maybe it wasn't a modern book.
I feel like I vaguely remember that, but I'm not entirely
What was
sure.
that in recently?
It was in. You guys have been reading like Sandra Kane Batgirl, so maybe.
Nah, it wasn't that.
I don't think it was.
Oh, I think it was Gotham Central. I think I read some Gotham Central recently, and it happened in
Okay.
that.
That makes sense.
He tricked a guard with because his hats have the technology in them and he.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I was reading. I confused it because I was like, I read that recently. But no, I think he's fine in that capacity. I like him sometimes when he's used. Here, Snyder goes full on Scarecrow-esque. The world's falling around and.
See,
that's-
that's
yeah.
what I love about Mad Hatter when he goes full trip and takes the Alice in Wonderland inspiration to the highest level it possible can.
So I understand that, but when he's trying to trick Batman into thinking that everything he's done has been a machination of the Mad Hatter, and this is all in his head.
And the Bat villains
I
all
almost-
represent different characters, and Alice in Wonderland.
in the asylum. Yeah. I almost rather had him give him a Wonderland experience where it is this weird world where nothing is what it seems. And I think that's what Snyder was going for, but it didn't land for me. Especially with this threat of from the last issue, that disease that he helped stop with Ivy. And I felt like those stakes got lost in this.
I felt like this idea of Mad Hatter trying to convince Bruce that this has all been like an illusion the entire time, I think that sounds like a great 3-issue mini that has nothing to do with Batman trying to stop a disease at the same time. Like, see, if you just give me that story, it's like the Buffy episode where she thinks she's in an insane asylum. You give me that.
Right.
In fact, wasn't there an episode of the animated series that did this?
Episode of everything has done this.
Yeah, I think there
Smallville's
was.
done
Yeah.
it, you know.
I'm pretty sure there was, but like that's
The animated series one also involved robot imposters and stuff too, so it
fair.
upped it.
But look, that sounds
I
like
love that series.
that sounds like a fun mini. Sounds like a fun little 3-4 issue mini, and you can sort of explore the ideas, and it can actually mean stuff. I just felt like it was going through all these beats to like, oh, look at Catwoman as the Cheshire Cat, and look at this as that, and so on, and it was all fine. I honestly, as I was reading this book, I was sort of already thinking about it, and I sort of decided halfway through I'm kind of done with this for now.
Me too.
I really like this issue. I don't know what to say. I thought it was great.
Also, if you're doing an Alice in Wonderland theme with each of the villains, you don't make Joker the Jabberwocky. Like, the biggest, baddest threat, and he's worse than you make him in your mind, and it's the whole point of the Jabberwocky. No, you just make him the Red King with Harley Quinn as the Red Queen. Ugh, it's just lazy, guys.
I mean, beyond. I mean, when I say I was thinking about quitting before, it was I read all of my books on Wednesday, except this one, and it sat there and it waited until today, like an hour before we recorded. I was like, oh, I better read All Star Batman. And
This also, I did read this today, but my books were spread out like 2 or 3 a day at most.
And you know, I thought the first couple were a chore, and then I see Nightwing and Batwoman, and I go, oh, Nightwing and Batwoman, this might get interesting this issue.
No.
And then it just kind of like.
I will say that the one part of the issue I really did enjoy outside of the Flamingo was him dissecting the different fighting styles of who he thinks. And, you know, Nightwing hesitates to ignite the sticks, and it's what gives them away as that they're not the real ones. I did like that. So,
and I also loved how he used his cape.
Yeah, well,
that was cool.
That's almost an FU to the Incredibles.
It is.
Like, hey, look, capes are useful.
It was, and I love that movie too much, but I appreciate it anyway. Show me why he has a cape other than just gliding, and as its combat use, and as it's something to be good with, not just a liability.
The funny thing is there actually is things I like about this issue. I like some of the core ideas that play. Like I say, a lot of the story could turn into a mini, and it might be fun. I actually kind of like the use of the narrative style of writing. I actually think that makes for a good thing. It's just that the voice feels off. Like, I feel like that with just rewritten with a different voice would actually work
the
well
art,
for
though,
me.
was pretty strong. I thought the art looked good.
That was, So, I mean, that's the real reason this is called All Star, right? It's the All Star artists.
That said, though, this one didn't blow me away like the last
ones.
two. Yeah.
No, I don't think it was quite as good as the last two in terms of the art or the story as well. I think this is the weakest of the three, but I still really liked it, so I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, I think.
Plus, there's an Albuquerque arc coming up, so
that is true. Maybe I'll jump in for that. Although,
yeah, what do we know what the next issue is about? Like what villain it centers around?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Solicits quite easily.
It's part 4. There's definitely at least one more of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Albuquerque. I will say.
Months.
Yeah, the high point of All Star has been the Ivy issue for me, and that's not just because I really enjoy Ivy. It's the emotional stakes in it, and the story playing into the Free story. It felt like it was a loosely connected, and here it just loses all of that. I feel like he mentions it at the beginning, but then it just becomes this deep delve into Batman psyche, which we've seen so many times.
Yeah, it's just a very loose thread to sort of link them all together when it's really just 4 one-shots about different villains.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Freeze issue probably is my favourite just because of the art, mostly. Even though the story did annoy me at the end, but I think I am out
Hard
for
to
now.
beat Jock.
because I'm finding myself not wanting to read it, and I'm pushing it off till late as possible in the week.
I was just having a look. We don't actually know who the villain for the next one is.
Great.
It says it's the final issue of the arc. It all comes down to this.
Because by the way,
face off against one of his most dangerous villains in a battle of the wills.
The preview for the trade is up, and it is only just a 4-issue trade. So, Battle of Wills. Maybe it's Riddler, or I don't know.
Guy Gardner.
It may not be one specific because it presumably is ending the story, so it has to.
It says must face off against one of his most dangerous villains.
All right,
but could be anyone still, really, couldn't it?
You guys can tell me, or Connor can tell me. Matt, are you out too?
One issue to finish the arc, and then you've got Albuquerque.
Yeah. I kind of just want to be done with it, so I don't have an extra book to read. You know. Well, that cover is Batman sitting on a throne with the American flag behind him. So that's great.
Yeah, there was a backup with Duke doing stuff.
I'm still enjoying these backups actually. I'm preferring them a lot more now. With since Frank Villa's been doing them the last few.
Yeah, it's basically Duke goes back to the sort of the youth centre that he helps out at, and he says he's quit, but then.
They talk to him. It's like, no, look, these people respect heroes, and you gotta, if you're quitting just for the sake of it, maybe you should reconsider why you're doing what you're doing. Yeah,
and then he realizes how the Riddler's doing things from his cell while he's locked up, and we get a little cliffhanger.
I'm enjoying it. Plus, Frank Villa's art is just fantastic, so I'd read it anyway.
That almost made me want to read it, and then I was like, well, I haven't read anything else, so
I'm just not feeling Snyder's Batman writing right now, and I've not been for a good while, like years at this point.
Nah, don't have the same problems at all.
It's a shame, but I've just been really down on All-Star Batman. I keep putting the issues off, so I think, if I hear the Albuquerque issues are good, but I'll trust Matt more than Connor, because I've disagreed with Connor with every single issue of this so far. So
far,
yeah.
Well, we were all pretty identical on the last issue. We were all in line, so
yeah.
Sure. It was still too wordy, I think, but yeah. Other than that, it was better.